in the life of a designer. We're pretty much just going, talk about sketch to reality today. We're primarily just going to tap in talking about, getting your designs from the paper to actually making it a legit product. So, make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you share with your friends and family as well too, so that way they can stay tuned, tapped in, and you know start visualizing their purpose as well too. So, number one, the thing that I primarily want everybody to focus in on, what I'm saying, when it comes to sketch to reality. And just give me a second. Just walked out of work, feel me? So still kind of trying to get my life together. But like I said, we're talking about from sketch to reality today. So primarily the thing that I want everybody to, focus in on is, have you ever wondered how an idea becomes something people can, actually wear? And, you know, every collection begins long before the, first sample is ever put out or even, worn. Because simply the thing is that you got to come up with the idea first, and you got to, have a brand, or at least, a solid foundation for a business in the clothing realm in order to actually, be able to design suitable garments for people. You feel me? At least where, you know, gotta have some type of, custom design store, so that way people can come in and, select their designs, select the, materials and fabrics that they want on their garments. So, you know, that's the first thing when it comes down to, wondering how an idea, becomes something people can actually, wear. Every design starts with an idea, you feel me? And a sketch is more than a drawing. It's, the first draft of a vision. And that's how it is for each collection. It's just another first draft of a vision. Inspiration comes from, conversation, architecture, music, traveling, everyday life, social events, just being outside. You feel me? Just being in the moment. A lot of us, we don't live in the moment, even when, we have special moments in our lives. We, miss out on those moments. And even though you living in the moment, a lot of people still miss out on that motherfucker. Before you put pencil to paper, ask, what story am I trying to tell? What emotion should this, piece invoke? Who am I designing for? And when you reflect, a great design starts with asking better questions, not just making better sketches. You feel me? The design process has to start with your mindset first. If your mind, body, and soul is not in oneness with, your craft, what you're doing in this process, and, making your work actually pure to who you are and what you got going on for your business, as far as, what your brand message is, your brand identity is, then it's going to fall off track, and it's probably not even going to make any sense for you or the customer when you actually make it reality. Because the thing is that a design doesn't guarantee a great product. Even just the sketch doesn't, guarantee a great product. You know, what really comes after is, the research that you do for the collection. Understanding, the topic lines, or, the, I guess you could say, title of the collection, understanding its true meaning of the word, the basis of it, what connects to it, how it, connects with society, and, you know, can you include trends with this phrase? Fabric and material selection is another big thing. You feel me? Because a lot of, materials that are out right now are blended, and you're not even getting pure cotton anymore. So that's just something to think about. Then on top of that, a lot of the exotic joints, not even getting them joints either, because product and demand, you feel me? People don't understand is that there's only so much of everything on this planet. That's number one. So when we use up a resource, you have to recreate that same resource in that same amount of time. That always doesn't happen, and almost never consistently happens. So you just gotta think about it, man. They be using all types of different shit in order to make shit and then call it what we think it is. So everything is never as pure as we think. That's just number one when it comes to fabrics and materials. The next thing for your garments and pieces for your collection to think about is the fit and silhouettes. The aesthetic, the type of people that you will want wearing your clothes. You feel me? Like, what are the sizes you gonna have? What are the width? Like, is it gonna be for plus size people, or is it gonna be for petite? Sampling and revisions are the last thing that you typically do before you release and start marketing a product. The most designs improve is through iteration, not perfection on the first try. Sometimes the first version is rarely that final version that you create. You feel me? So designers aren't just creating, they're solving problems. You feel me? I hope y'all heard me. Like, pretty much, we're solving problems here. You feel me? Like, when you're designing a collection, you primarily want to, have something where it's functional, it's comfortable, that aligns with, the customer and your brand identity. And then on top of that, be able to actually tap into maybe a trend or two, you know what I'm saying? But primarily what we were talking about on this drawing so far was, from sketch to reality. You primarily tapping in on, how every design starts with a mindset, an idea, you feel me? And with that, there's certain questions that you have to ask yourself before putting pencil to paper, just to, go over everything, just in case, you guys didn't hear me, because I know my mic has been acting up a little bit lately. But, what story are you telling when it comes to designing that piece? What emotion should this piece invoke? And what am I designing? And who am I designing for? Then, you also want to tap in and ask yourself this question as well, too, before you even start the process. Have you ever wondered how an idea becomes something people can actually wear? And like I said before, every collection begins long before the first sample is made. So you got to take the time, do your research, understand the target audience that you're going after, then understand your brand identity as well too. So that way everything aligns with each other. Make sure that, the clothes are functional, comfortable, and, wearable. And will still somebody want to wear it years from now? Every revision is an opportunity, to make the product better. The last thing, on this topic that I want to touch on is bringing the vision to life. And turning the idea into reality requires, collaboration at times, patience, and consistency. Photography and, storytelling, content, and, presentation are all part of the, final product as well, too. You got to come up with a content strategy, promotional plan, marketing plan for the product. So that way you can get not only the product across, but the mission and message across to your target audience. A great designer creates an experience, not just a product. You feel me? It's just like, with our From the Mud collection. We didn't just design a fucking collection. We designed an experience. You literally can enjoy the poetry from it. And, it relates to modern flow. It's not just, some like old school poetry shit. Like it's something that, you can vibe with. Got, a little 808 beats and, smooth beats on that jump as well, too. We also got, the book as well, just in case, you might be deaf or, you don't want to listen to the audio. You just want to read the book. Or we got the clothes. So that way, you can get the same messaging from the garments. And then if, you want to enjoy all three together, that's what they're there for. Feel me? And ultimately, you don't have just one option. You got multiple options on how you can do things. I know you guys are small-minded, but, it gives you, more opportunity, more leeway to see what the brand is about, the aspects of the brand, and where it plans on going as well, too. You feel me? Every masterpiece begins, as a rough sketch. The difference between an idea and reality isn't talent. It's the willingness to refine, adapt, and keep building. Your first draft isn't your final destination. It's simply the beginning of the journey. Your physical, movements mirror your psychological movements in the creative process. Every step represents progress from concept to creation. It also gives viewers a, practical look on how you think, make decisions, and transform ideas into, meaningful work. You feel me? So the thing is that, overall, what I want y'all to get from this, and I want y'all to, really think about when you start, designing your first collection or you design your next collection. Is this actually going to help somebody in some way, shape, or form? Doesn't matter how you help them, but can this product help the next person in any way, shape, or form? If you can create something like that, you're already on the way to creating something special. So, like I always say, man, put a solid plan together, do the research, tap into what's going on in the world, execute your plan consistently every day, and I guarantee you your dreams and goals will come to fruition. Like I said on the last few streams, Everything is a process. It's not going to all come together tonight. You might catch the vision tonight, but the process still has to happen in order for it to work. And once you understand the process, once you even come up with a solid process for yourself within that, then you'll be right on your way. So take the time and just come up with a solid plan of how you were going to design your collections, how you're going to design your first one, your next one, and how can it relate and help your customer. Like I always say, keep visualizing your purpose, stay true to yourselves, and start living like royalty, you feel me? Because we all kings and queens out here, and we all got a special story that needs to be told that can help somebody else today. You feel me? It's time that, us as a community start coming together, start blessing each other. You feel me? Because this world is definitely trying to, destroy every individual individually. So stay focused, locked in on your dreams and goals. Start chasing them jaunts and keep the main thing the main thing. Keep visualizing, and I'm out.